All right. Well, first of all, thank everybody for coming. It's been a long week for all of us that have been impacted, and certainly Reed's family as well. And want to thank the local media for what you guys have done over the last week to make sure that everything is accurately reported on the situation that we had here over a week ago. So that hasn't been the case everywhere, and we respect what you guys do for professions, and we want to make sure that today, and part of the reason we're doing this press conference today is that the information that is leaving Duluth is accurate and out of respect for Reed and his family, our football program, our athletic department, and our community. Last week, Tuesday, around 2:15, Reed Ryan collapsed in our weight room in a tragic event after a workout. And fortunately, we had our head athletic trainer and strength staff with Reed immediately. And unfortunately, he was with his team at the time, so there was a lot of emotions that went far beyond that weight room at 2:15 last Tuesday. So since then, our training staff, our local paramedics, the folks at Essentia have been nothing but tremendous to work with Reed's family, with our staff, with Reed. They did everything right. They did everything that they were supposed to do. And unfortunately, it wasn't enough. But it was eye-opening, I think, for myself, for Forrest Carr, athletic director, our staff, and our team to see the amount of attention and care and love that the folks at Essentia and the folks that were here on campus at 2:15 or so last Tuesday have provided. So that has all been very positive. Reed was taken immediately to Essentia and spent a week there fighting and trying to get better. And unfortunately, around midnight last night is when Reed finally passed away. We had a team meeting with our team last Sunday, and there's been a lot of misinformation, and we wanted to make sure that we had our team involved in kind of what was going on. So at that point with our team, we had talked to all of those guys and our staff and support staff and everybody to make sure that we were all on the same page, and our team has known, our parents have known of our team, that the outcome probably was not going to be positive at that point. So that's been tough. But they've done a very good job respecting his family and the situation. It's been difficult. You know, there was a lot of emotions, not many highs, a lot of lows, but overall, we're very, very thankful to have been with Reed over the last year. So Reed Ryan was a transfer that came from North Dakota State. He was a defensive end for us, outside linebacker. Played quite a bit for us this past fall. He's a kid that learned by writing everything down. He had a very infectious personality, a very bright, vibrant smile every time you saw him. When we started this recruiting process, and Forrest Carr, our athletic director, had a relationship with Reed and his family previously from Waunakee, and that was tough for Forrest. But we started the recruiting process, and through North Dakota State and our relationship with their staff, and through Waunakee High School, our message that we received from them, and the message continued here at Duluth, was you'll never have a better person. And that's what we got. So the journey began for Reed about a year ago. And he fit right in. You know, he came from a really strong Division I football program that he had expectations here to come in and play by all of us, and his intent was to make sure that everybody around him got better. and that's just the kind of human being he was. He was a kid that would always stop by your office, stop you in the hallway, stop his teammates, and truly ask how you're doing. Our thoughts are with his family. They have been awesome to work with. And our staff, our team, and support staff will be down at his funeral and this weekend on Saturday. And that's something I think that will provide a little bit of closure for all of us. Reed was a caring human being. He was a donor, and I think that's something him and his family are very proud of last night as they did the donor walk at Essentia. Reed's family has been involved for a number of years in ambulance service and being EMSs around the Madison area. And Reed's dad wanted me to pass along just the importance of being CPR certified. And if you can help one person, it's worth it. So, Reed was with us in Duluth for a year. His impact will be for a lifetime, for all of us. Thank you. We'll open it up to any questions.
You kind of touched on it, how he was a nice individual. He greets you in the hallway. But with football players, they're aggressive. How would you describe him as a player on the field?
Yeah, that was our end of the season meetings with Reed. That was part of my my talk with Reed is we got to get you meaner. We needed you in between the whistles to be more tenacious. So Reed, again, I learned this from his dad a week ago, but Reed went to a high school camp when he was in Waukee, and a coach, I don't remember the coach, but a coach told him, you got to make sure you write down everything. Don't leave me without writing down what we're teaching you. So Reed was the kind of kid that took that to heart, and he carried a notebook everywhere he went. Didn't matter what meeting he was involved with, whether it was in a class, whether it was with our staff, whether it was with his teammates. He wrote everything down. And Reed was a good football player, but he was such a good human being that he impacted us in a lot of positive ways far beyond the field.
Alexis Fassler on the news now. Coach, I know a lot of times you've had so many players over the course of your career impact you, and one of your main jobs is to make sure that you allow them to be better men as they leave this program. But what is it about him as he's left this place that he's left the mark on you?
Yeah, I think just, everything I touched on, his personality, his demeanor, his willingness always to help out. He was a really good teammate, and, that's what's part of, that's tough, I think, for us, that to make sense of a tragedy like this, of somebody as young and healthy as Reed. But his impact will be just the kind of person and teammate he was, and to always be true to who he was. I think that is something that all of us will remember Reed Ryan by.
Is there any way or any resources that you guys have been open about with your team in terms of how they're handling things and what that looks like moving forward?
Yeah, our university has been tremendous. There's been so much support provided already to our student athletes and to our staff and our strength staff and everybody that has been directly involved in this. We have counseling service on campus that has opened their doors to all of us, and everybody deals with this differently. Reed had teammates that he was very close to, and we have 107 guys in our locker room, so we have guys that maybe weren't as close to him personally and maybe weren't in the weight room that day. So it may be easier for those people to cope with what has happened as opposed to his roommates and guys that were in his position group and things like that. So everybody deals with this differently. You know, it's hard to make sense of this happening and to see it for a week, and for him to be in the hospital for a week, and to be talking to the physicians for a week about saying, you know, we're hopeful, and then, you know, to get the picture of reality painted has been super hard. And I think, you know, I referenced our team meeting on Sunday. That was hard. It was hard to see the emotions of our guys and our staff, and, you know, you have some guys walk out of there and, you know, he's impacted all of our lives, but it's when you walk out of that room, and at that point still didn't have closure on Sunday, but we knew at that point what the end result was probably going to be was really tough.
What do you tell your guys to encourage them that it's okay to express your emotions and display that vulnerability man to man, as that, especially in this sport, isn't an easy thing, or even a common popular thing to display?
Yeah, we've talked to our guys a lot about that we're all going to cope with this differently, and we're all going to need help, and we're all going to need to talk to people in different ways, and some of us may not, and some of us may need to. So, you know, we got a big family. I think that helps. We got back in the weight room this week, and there was a handful of guys that couldn't be back, just mentally couldn't do it at this point, which is okay. And but we got a big group, and it's a support system, I think, for all of us. It extends far beyond our locker room, with everybody that's been around and the family members and everything else. So we'll get through it. We'll be stronger in the end, and, you know, this will hurt forever. This isn't something that's a week and a heal.
Kurt, I know it's still fresh, but do you have plans to honor him at a game, or maybe a helmet decal, things of that nature?
Yeah, all that stuff will be in process. You know, it is fresh, and although we've had a little bit of time to think about it here as a team, you know, our older guys as roommates have brought all that stuff up. You know, what is our plan? And it'll take time. You know, whatever we do, you know, no different than today. And Kelly has done a tremendous job, and everybody on her team, and Dylan and Brian and Forrest and everybody that's helped put today on. It was social media and on our website, and we got Lynn Williams across campus. Everybody's done a good job. So what we do, we want to do right. And I think it's important for Reed's family to be involved in the decisions that we make, and make sure that we do it out of respect for them and in the legacy of Reed Ryan.
I have a question. Sabrina Ullman, WTIO News. You say he was really young. Can you talk a little bit about maybe what his goals were in the future?
Yeah, he was a business student. He was going to graduate in a year and a half. I guess I don't know exactly what Reed was going to do in the future. I don't know if he was going to get into his family business, or what exactly he was aspiring to do after college. He was a guy that lived every day with a smile on his face, and wanted to be a good football player and a good student and a good teammate. And, you know, where that led him in life was probably going to be really positive things. And I don't know exactly what he inspired to do, to be honest. I'm sure he had plans. I'm sure his family may know that answer, but I don't. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Kurt.